Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining the session today. I hope I'm audible. Can you please post in the chat window if I'm audible? Am I audible? Thank you so much. So it's very good to meet you all in another session of webinar of Zoho Books. So this is a very new topic which we are going to discuss today. One of the most requested webinars as well. So now we have brought in the fixed asset management in Zoho Books, one of the most requested feature by most of you here. So today we are going to look into it. Before that, we have a few housekeeping activities. So let me quickly tell you that. So the app which we are using to uh, do this webinar is Zoho's in-house application, Zoho Trainer Center. So you might see a few icons there in your screen. So if you have any audio visual discrepancy during the webinar, you can post it in the chat window. And if you have any questions, product related queries, you can post it in the questions tab. So we have our product experts here with us who can answer. And then this webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be shared to you after the webinar is ended. And we will also publish this in our official YouTube channel, Zoho Books. All the attendees' camera and mic will be disabled by default. So if you have any product related queries, please post them in the questions tab. So today, to explain about the fixed asset management in Zoho Books and how it is being handled, we have Naveen here with us. So over to you, Naveen.
Thank you, Priyadarshini. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Hope I'm audible as well. Can you please kindly confirm? Yeah, thank you. Yes, perfect. So, yeah, hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. And first of all, thank you once again for joining us today amidst your busy schedule. I'm pretty sure that the greatest of business minds is all gathered up here. Before we get into the session, a quick introduction. This is Naveen Pramod, product expert from Zoho. I have been with Zoho for 4 plus years now, and I hold expertise in providing solutions to complex and unique business scenarios. So here at Zoho, in our case specifically Zoho Books, we always look for opportunities to incorporate all aspects of business needs under a single window so that our accounting can be a cakewalk. On that note, this brings us to our topic for today, the fixed asset management. How well we have efficiently given the module for you to handle it within the Zoho Books application. Before we get into the session, a quick poll. A question will be displayed on your screen. Kindly answer them so that we can continue with this session. Yeah. Thank you for being a part of the poll. Now, without any further delay, let us take a look at today's session. So, to give you a brief idea on what is covered here in the session today, we'll give you an introduction on what is fixed asset and how well the module in Zogo Books helps you to create and manage them, and how well we can handle your purchase and sale transaction, that is your inward and outward asset entries along with their accounting implications. Finally, let's take a look at the other actions and wrap it off with the reporting capabilities. And as it always goes without saying, towards the end we'll take a quick rewind and fast forward the session topic that we covered today. So to start with fixed assets in Zoho Books, we need to understand what comprises of fixed asset in a company. I'm pretty sure like it is not a really new topic, but to set the context, the fixed assets are the ones that the business intend to use to produce or provide the goods or services of their business. And these assets are not intended for sale in the normal course of their businesses as well. Say we can that includes our land acquired or the buildings that are built, the furnitures of the company, the equipments used, and even the vehicles of the company. However, again here if we consider a vehicle manufacturing company, are the vehicles produced come under as a fixed asset? Definitely not. That are they are the byproducts of the business, which are the actual goods of the company. So in that case, say your land acquired or the building or the equipments, machineries used will be accounted as their fixed asset. Well, I hope this should clear what a fixed asset for a company and how well it differs from different walks of the business. Let us now take a look and feel of the fixed asset in Zoho Books module. So it is a new module under the accountant tab. To get that enabled for the first time, you can once you log into your Zoho Books, kindly navigate to settings. Under the general preferences, you can have your fixed asset module checked. Once you check and save the particular space, you are good to go about creating the fixed assets under the accountant module. Say to go about creating a new fixed asset, we can click on plus new, and the first section covers your rudimentary details, like say your fixed asset name, the branch if it is applicable in your organization, and you can give it a series number with which the assets are to be tracked. The next part is where the numbers are involved. We should note that not only the new fixed assets that are acquired right now can be tracked here, the existing ones where you might have had the fixed assets created in Zoho Books or outside Zoho Books or handled with any workarounds, all of that we can have it created here once again with the current value and have your depreciation entries passed on from the current date or the required dates. Say you had purchased it sometime back and you want to have it tracked here. To look at an example over here, say let us start creating together. Let us give it a name and say you have purchased this fixed asset back in 2024 January for an amount of 1 lakh, and now for the entire year, say 12 months, the depreciation entries are already passed. Now in the current value, say if you are looking to have it created right now or say the 1st of January 2025, you can enter the current value. Say if it is 75,000 after the depreciation, have it entered. You can enter your other details like say the serial number or the warranty expiration dates, anything associated with these electronic goods, and have it updated. Not just this, when we are discussing about the numbers, we can also give a disposal value over here. Say, for example, in this particular case, this let us consider this as a laptop where it was purchased for a lakh and now the current value is 75,000. And when the laptop reaches a value of say 10,000 or 15,000, you would want this depreciation to be stopped and convert this to a fully depreciated one. We can make use of the disposal value, say enter it as 15,000 over here. So when the depreciation value reaches 15,000 and the actual balance is lesser than or equal to 15,000, your fixed asset will be automatically marked as fully depreciated. This eliminates any manual intervention to analyze your asset availability and have the depreciation entries marked by with the help of any manual works. The next part is your depreciation related details. This is basically the hero of today's session, where how well the depreciation methods are handled and how the calculations are carried out. To discuss this in a more brief manner, let us take a look at the particular slides. So currently in Zoho Books, we are supporting the straight line method of depreciation and the declining balance methods as well. In both these methods, both the pro rata and non pro rata computation types are supported. To look at the straight line method, let us have an example of an asset of 1 lakh rupees with an asset life period of 12 months. So the pro rata formula will be our depreciable value divided by the remaining number of depreciation days times the number of days in the current depreciation period. Say if we are considering this for 1 lakh, the depreciable value will be 1 lakh divided by the number of depreciation days in the year is 365 times. For the January month, if you are calculating this particular depreciation, it has to be multiplied by the number of days in January, that is 31, to arrive at our depreciation value of 8493.15. Similarly, when it is a non-pro rata, the depreciated value is calculated as the depreciable value divided by the remaining life period. Say in our case, again for January, it is 1 lakh divided by 12 months. So the depreciated value for January will be 8333.33. On the other hand, the declining balance method. Before we get into declining balance method, all of us would definitely know the difference between the straight line and the declining balance method. The straight line method is nothing but where at a uniform rate the particular asset depreciates. When it comes to declining balance method, the asset depreciates at a higher rate initially and it reduces as the time flies by. So here in the declining balance method, if you are calculating the pro rata, the formula will be the current value times percentage of the asset depreciation. Say in this case, we can have the 5% depreciation into the current value of the asset right now divided by the number of days in the given year multiplied by the number of days. Say to understand it with numbers, it's 1 lakh into 5% divided by 365 into 31, which gives us a value of 424.66. However, in terms of a non-pro rata calculation for declining balance method, the annual depreciation will be current value into the percentage by 100, and the monthly depreciation will be calculated from that, say your annual depreciation divided by 12. Now, to give a number to it, the annual depreciation for this 1 lakh will be 5,000 and the monthly depreciation value will be 416.67. So to collate all this, if we look at this particular table, for a month of 6 months, if we take the same example with straight line method, the pro rata calculation will give us the depreciation entries, and by June end we'll have the current value as 70,230.28, whereas in terms of a non-pro rata the value will be 70,000. In terms of declining balance with 5% depreciation, the pro rata will arrive at a value of 97,535.92. In the other case, the non pro rata will have 97,515.61. I hope this particular table gives you a clear understanding on how well the entire four types of computation along with the different depreciation methods can be handled in Zoho Books. Now let us take a look at Zoho Books. So back here, we can have this example of straight line depreciation with a computation method of pro rata. Let us set the depreciation frequency as monthly, and most important thing to be noted here is that our depreciation start date. Say even though we have this asset purchased on 1st of January 2024, we are starting it in Zoho Books from 1st of January 2025. So you can always choose to give the depreciation start date as per your requirement and give the asset life over here. Usually the asset life, say for this kind of an office equipment, can be 16 months, that is your 5 years. But here the purchase was on 1st of January 2024 and 12 months entries are already passed. So to have the better clarity on the depreciation, we will have to enter the remaining life period here, which is nothing but your 60 minus 12, 48 months has to be entered over here. The final part, you can give the account details. Say what is the fixed asset account it has to be handled with, what is the depreciation account where the entries month on month or based on the frequency that has to be passed to, and what is the expense account where any expenses associated with these assets has to be mapped to. Once this is done, we are good to go about saving this fixed asset. But if we take a pause over here and understand it from an organization point of view, say this particular fixed asset will come under a category where the particular assets under the category all depreciates at the same frequency and the same percentage if it is a declining balance and so on. So as assured earlier, to reduce your manual intervention and the manual efforts involved in this, we have this option called fixed asset type, which is nothing but a template kind of a setting where you can enter a fixed asset type name and give your depreciation details and the account details. So every time, whenever you go about creating a particular fixed asset, all you got to do is just select this fixed asset type. So the remaining value, like sections of the asset, say your depreciation and the account details, will be picked up automatically. This is not the only use case of the fixed asset type. We will discuss this in detail during the transactions creation as well. That is it. We have created the fixed assets in Zoho Books now. The created fixed assets can always be in a draft status so that you can check for the basic details. Since a new module and you are transitioning from your existing system or even from the other manual entries in Zoho Books to this register, we have given you a look and feel of how the basic details, say your asset related number or the values and the depreciation method that you have chosen first, and also the depreciation details, your depreciation forecast, which gives you what are the depreciable values and how long is the depreciation setup and so on, along with the graphical representation. So you need not worry about any discrepancy of data. Have a look and feel of it. Once you are completely confident and okay with the module, you can go about marking it as active. Until you mark it as active, there are no such entries passed in the backend to any chart of accounts, say your account ledgers over here. So that is about creating your fixed asset. Again, by this time, there will be multiple questions. Like, a fixed asset creation is one such basic step with Zoho Books. However, there are multiple other queries, like say there is always a purchase entry that is involved with the fixed asset creation, how to handle that. And next will be what if I have multiple accounts already and I have to bring that in bulk over here. And number three will be your sale of fixed assets. What happens when I make a sale of the fixed asset from Zoho Books? And what if there are multiple other fields that are to be tracked against the fixed asset module? Let us discuss them one by one. Number one is your purchase of fixed assets. So the purchase of fixed asset is more of a straightforward process where you raise a purchase transaction with the respective fixed asset account. Let us look at them. If you have already created a fixed asset account, you can edit that one. Or now you can create a new fixed asset account. Say you select the asset type as fixed asset, give it a name, say your machinery new, and ensure to mark this option when this account is associated with a line item in a transaction. Create that item as a fixed asset, which automatically gives you the option to select the fixed asset type. Now you could clearly see how well the fixed asset type is significant here. So as and when you use this particular chart of account in the purchase bill and create a transaction, the fixed asset will automatically be created in a draft status. Let us look at it live over here. Say under purchases bills, if you go about creating a new account, I mean new bill, say I choose a respective vendor over here, the basic details of the bill can be entered. Once that is done, you can choose to enter the other details of the item. Say if you have already created an item for it, you can select it over here, or just type out the same and ensure to select the same account that we have created now. You can enter the other details. Say if it is 2 lakhs is the particular asset value, enter the same and have this particular asset created. Once this purchase bill is created, if there are any approval mechanisms involved, approve the same. And when this particular transaction is in open status, say the fixed asset new is the bill number and new item is the asset that we have created. Now, if we go back to fixed assets and the draft set assets, if you could see, the new item fixed asset is already created with the associated transaction of bill is available here. And as I mentioned earlier, it will currently be in the draft status. And if you want to make any changes, you can just edit them, check for the depreciation details. As I mentioned earlier, based on the fixed asset type that you have chosen, all the other details of your depreciation and accounts are automatically picked up. All you got to do is understand this, check for any discrepancies. You can even look at the depreciation flow chart that is forecasted and then mark it as active. Only when you mark it as active, the corresponding depreciation entries start to get posted automatically in the respective transaction modules. Well, we have easily handled the purchase bill creation, which is associated with the fixed assets. Again, the next question, this brings us to the next question where this can be applicable for the upcoming asset acquisitions or one or two assets. What if I have multiple assets that is already available with Zoho Books, or if I have to transition from an existing system? So that is where we have this import option. Similar to any other modules of Zoho Books, you have the import fixed asset option where you can download the sample file, and if it is already available with you, like if you're able to export it from anywhere, alter it based on the Zoho Books format, and you can go about importing the same here. Again, even in the import as well, we have the same option where you can enter the purchase value along with it, and also the current value, so that you can choose to start depreciation from the required date range. Say for example, if you are transitioning it today and you want to have the depreciations calculated only from the next financial year, or you want to start it from the previous financial year, all those kind of flexibilities are offered in the particular fixed asset registers. So that answers our question two. Number three is our outward transactions, which is nothing but our sale invoices with which the particular fixed asset is sold. Again, similar to our purchases, under the sales invoices, you will have to create the invoice associating the specific fixed asset account. Say if we are looking at the same account that we created right now, we can go about create an invoice where you enter the basic details. You can choose any existing item or have the new one updated over here. Enter the rate of the fixed asset on the day which it is sold. You can even create it for a back, later on date. Say I'm so selling it on 31st of March. Apply the tax related details, and you can save the particular invoice. Again, you will have to have this approved or any other internal handling is over there. Once that is done, once the invoice is has in sent status, you will be able to associate to any fixed assets. Now the particular invoice is created over here. Let us see how we can map it against the fixed asset now. We have used the same account. One thing, even we missed it over here. The particular thing which has to be ensured here is we have to choose the same fixed asset account that you have created. By default, there will be sales account. We will have to select the respective fixed asset account and save this transactions. Once this is done, you can go back to your fixed asset module, click on the respective active fixed asset, and you will be arrived at the sell option. Here, the option of select an invoice appears only when you choose the relevant fixed asset account over there. Let us take a look at the invoice created. We have selected the account. We'll just refresh the page once. When this is associated, under the accountant module, particular fixed asset will give you an option to select the invoice. Once it is available over here, when the sync is complete in the backend, you will be given the option to select the invoice. If I could show any already sold invoices, you could see the particular invoice is also mapped over here, so that the entire sale of transactions will also be handled within the same module. While you are associating the particular sale invoice, you will be given the option to select the gain or loss account as well. Say you are purchasing it for 1 lakh and the current value can be 75,000, and say you are selling it only for 70,000. The remaining 5,000 is a loss to us. So that goes to the relevant account that we chose here and affects our profit and loss accounts. So if you want to understand it in a broader way, where how well it is handled, see, this particular asset was acquired for 1 lakh and sold for 70,000. Let us see how the accounting implications happen over here. We can easily check the fixed asset account from here. We can go back to the account ledger and select the respective account and look for the transactions. Say if I run it for this particular year and run the report, it will give me a clear understanding of what is the purchase date and how what is the value of the asset and the depreciation entries that are past at the frequency that I have mentioned. And on 26th of January, I have made a sale for 70,000. However, until 26th of January, there are 25 days in January for which the depreciation has to be calculated. So that depreciation value of 1423 is also entered here. And there is a additional cost of 13,515.86. That is also depreciated from here and it is added in the relevant profit or loss account. So by end of this particular year, if I could see, even the sale is also completed. So the fixed asset value is zero over here. So this particular report also gives us a clear understanding on how the both the inward and outward along with the depreciation entries are handled within Zoho Books. And speaking of these fixed asset depreciation entries, the journals will be automatically passed. Say if you are looking at the same example over here, the fixed asset number 16. If you would wish to see the journal entries that are passed, all you got to do is under the depreciation history, click on view journal. That gives you the understanding on the accounts involved in the particular journal where the debit and credit has happened. The final question of this particular section is nothing but how to handle your additional details. Say if I go to this creation page, I have a set of details that are available here which can be tracked. In case I want to track any other extra fields, as you all know, Zoho Books always helps you with custom fields. Say in this case, we want to track which floor the fixed asset is associated with or which department it is associated with. You can create a custom field over here, say department. You can choose the data type. Say if even if you want to have a drop down field over here, have it updated. Department, say HR, sales, procurement, and IT. With the options, we can save the custom field over here. Now when we go about creating the fixed assets, we will be given with this additional option over here where you can choose the relevant departments as well. This is one such option which is available. And if there are any reporting requirements, say you want to tag it against a cost center wise or any other capabilities, you can use the reporting tags available over here where similar to any other transaction, the fixed assets also can be mapped. So all your depreciation entries and the sale and purchase, everything will be tracked against the tag chosen over here. Now, speaking of the actions in fixed asset module, the other actions include your say cancel, write off, and the clone options. Say if we go back to Zoho Books over here, if we go to any active status, asset item, if you wish to make any changes or you have made any differences, you can always cancel this fixed asset and again convert it to draft, make any required changes, and then move it to the active status. If you wish to clone it, say you want to create a new asset with all the similar details, you can easily use the clone option. So all the details will be picked up. You can choose to update the relevant items and then create a new fixed asset altogether. And most importantly, we have the write off option. Say at any point of time you would want to write off the asset. Say there can be any natural calamity or even a theft of item as such. You can readily write off the fixed asset over here. Say what is the fixed asset, expense account with which it is happening and what is the write off date. So once, say for example, the automated entries for this month are done for first of every month. say the February month depreciation entry has already been passed, but the fixed asset evaluation has happened like 15th or 16th of the month. Now you understand that the particular item was missing, or it was under theft, or any destroyed with a natural calamity or anything. You can choose the write off date as 1st of February or before that, so that the depreciation entries passed after that will automatically be deleted, giving you a clear understanding and guidance on how well the depreciation entries are to be passed and where it started and how it ended. This gives you a transparent tracking of the entire account balances and ensures there are no duplicate entries or unnecessary entries in terms of fixed asset handlings. Now, if we are to look at the reports as such, as you all know, Zoho Books has an exclusive reporting capabilities. A basic report of your fixed assets, right from your basic current values and the opening and closing balances, everything of all the fixed assets under a single report is available over here. This gives you the entire details of the status on the tracking number or the purchase and current values with the depreciation value of the current period. Everything is updated over here. You can always have it customized and even schedule it in a frequency to have it shared with any specific agents of the company. You can always export them as well in the supported formats, even take a printout of it and get it filed. Rather than these default available reports of fixed assets, the cash flow instances are also in picture when it comes to a fixed asset creation or even the sale of fixed assets. So if you look at the cash flow statements, here we have the depreciation and amortization non-cash adjustments, where all your depreciation entries for the respective month will be picked up over here. Not just with the cash flow statements, even in terms of cash flow forecasting. Say you are scheduling the purchase of a fixed asset after 3 months, or a sale of fixed asset is scheduled after 2 to 3 months. If you are coming to this cash flow forecasting report and under the fixed asset activities, if you could see on March 2025, we have right now created a fixed asset over here, which the entry is picked up over here, and say the fixed asset against the mission is about to be purchased on April 2025. That is also picked up over there. So the forecasting reports in terms of the fixed asset timelines can also be picked up here, so which gives you an understanding on how well you'll have to be prepared for the upcoming expenses or the sale of fixed asset when it comes to the profits. So we have almost reached the end of today's session. To give a complete recap on what we have checked today, we started off with basic introduction. What are the fixed asset types and how the calculations are handled with the comparison table? We created a fixed asset here, understood how the purchase and sales entries are linked, and how the import of fixed assets in bulk are possible. The custom fields lets you handle any additional information, and you can easily clone, write off, and sell the fixed assets from here as well. You can also have the extensive reports that helps you understand what is the effect of fixed asset in the course of business.